Morning, Cancerians, and those of you who are new, a very warm welcome to you in the building. We are going to be covering the energy both astrologically, psychically, and through the tarot. For those of you that don't know and you're new to the channel, I do cover twin flame path, moon energy, astrology, and I mention the aspects of the current energy as well as the chakra systems. Now, if you do want a booking, you can go to the link directly below. Feel free at the end of any of the live sessions where you can actually have a super chat question. Now, let's get into the energy. Now, April, I don't know why I was going to say April. The energy this month for October is going to be super heavy. So it's not that it's going to continue that way the whole way. We do have Mars retrograde. So for the water signs, especially with Mercury going retrograde, being in Scorpio, it is going to be quite heavy for you guys, but it is temporary. We also did have the nodes that were in your zodiac sign and your shadow sign. So some of that is still playing out. Morning, Dale. So, with the Cancer Capricorn axis that we had, it transited over in May. And I am noticing that, with my private clientele, hi, Eddie, and the energy of, and the Leo Kings mentioned this, it's like if we had got our ducks in a row, we're all good in the hood. If we haven't, it can be quite karmic in nature. And so I have really seen at a collective level that a lot of people have been having themes of family and home, especially for Cancerians and Capricorns. You guys still have that energy till the end of the year. So it can be a little bit testing if some of those things haven't resolved and changed around. And that will be really linking to, let's have a very quick look at your chart, both with yourself and with the energy of your marriages, contracts, partnerships. And it was a huge test for you guys where initially people might have had a lot of expectations on you. You may have felt you needed to be something. As well as, really rediscovering who you are in the matrix of those situations. Do you resonate with your job? Do you resonate with your relationships? The requirements of accountability within those areas and really being pushed and pulled in two very different directions. So, for those of you that are Cancerians, or even have your rising sign in that area, it still would have affected you quite profoundly. Now, you're almost out of the woods, and it is hard because we do have Aries and Chiron. Hi, Dale. I loved your drink in that photo. We follow each other on Instagram. So if any of you want to follow me on Instagram, there is going to be additional content there. And I am getting my ducks in a row with my moon rising Cancer. So I can directly relate to you guys through this through. So with Aries retrograde, with Aries and Chiron retrograde, it is there for a while. We've also got Mars retrograde. We've got a few more weeks of that. So if you're feeling frustrated, if you're needing to concentrate, it's going to be more amplified. Your agitation, inflammation, more road accidents, things to that degree, because people are on all forces. Now, we are having Black Moon Lilith transit over into Taurus, which can take a little bit of that stress off. Hi, True Heart. So for you guys, the Aries placement is very much hitting your career sector, or something that you're working on, maybe wounds because, again, family-related dynamics, balancing, juggling, and even through your chart, it's really mirroring a lot of what's coming up with your chakra cards, your animal totem, and your crystals. And I have pulled a ruin for you, as well as the energy per moon phase. Now, we do have a full moon in Aries on the 1st, which is I'm in the Aries full moon today. And from Australia, what we're finding is, what I'm noticing in particular is agitation on the roads. Mars energy can relate to police, to, it's warlike energy. It's the jerk of the matrix, but it's also first house placement. So, sometimes we need a little element of that. It's where we get our energy to do our day-to-day tasks. So if you're feeling frustrated with things that you're working on, it is going to amplify it, but it's like tying up those loose ends with career, with what you're working on currently, especially with Pluto going direct this month. you guys have Pluto at the moment, and it is going to be going direct from the 4th of October. It does hit your 7th house, and even with your chakra card, it's really resonating with that, because 7th house is marriages, contracts, partnerships. And the chakra card that you actually have is relationships. So it's all of those areas that you're looking at. It's like what resonates, what doesn't. Now, Pluto, when it's in retrograde, it can bring sudden changes, but as it goes direct, it can do much the same. Some of you really might have already been moving in these areas, changing these situations, moving around and understanding. Also, the relationship with yourself is very important with the Cancer Capricorn axis that you guys had. So it has taken a toll. It has been very tiring for you guys. But I do feel some of you are really choosing who you're having in your life, who resonates with you, who doesn't. I mean, sometimes you can really love these people, but it's the healthy boundaries within the situation with the Mars aspect. Some of you may wish to jump ship, and you're really, with your marriages, contracts, partnerships, go through this frequency at the moment. I mean, if it's something that really hasn't been working for a very, very long time, I think if anything with Mars retrograde, it's just really going to clarify it, and it's going to get it to the point where, yes, in a Mars retrograde, it's like, okay, I've been putting my energy into this situation. It's to the detriment of my health. Okay, I can't do this any longer. That's fair enough. But if it's something that you need to work through, you will learn, a lot about yourself and also what you're made of. But for some of you, you may very much be cutting certain energies off, looking at it, and really wanting to take yourself in a different direction. But you're assessing your passion and your desire for certain areas, industries, connections, relationships. It can be mother, especially with Pluto. It can relate to more older energies in your life, grandmother energies, older siblings and things to that degree, especially with the nodes now in Sagittarius. So what we're having is, you tend to find with the sun energy, it can be something happening at a 3D. And we're going to be having the sun in Libra, and it is your 4th house placement. So for many of you, by about October the 22nd, we're having the sun transit into Scorpio, which again, Mercury is going to be in that energy as well. So it's both the 4th and the 5th house placement. And what I'm seeing from this is, a lot of home related dynamics, looking at those things and trying to get balance. It can be signing contracts, and again, you're really advised to do that, more from an astrological point of view. If there's things to do with home coming up, it can be contents insurance, it can be trying to balance the energy out at home, having a bit more justice, again, signing contracts. With Mercury going retrograde, for you guys, it will be very much, how do I place it? Because it's in Scorpio, it's hunch energy, it's intuitive energy, but it also can be really relating to shared resources. For you, it does fall and link into luck, children, and romance. So you do tend to find with Pluto going direct, hi Giggle, is that you guys are assessing everything. You're looking at your home, okay, where's the balance, moving over, then some things to do with children, family, romance. Again, you do have 7th house placement. So all of these things are kind of coming at you. And it's almost like I see a juggling act, trying to balance things. Does your house resonate with you? Does your day-to-day routine need fine-tuning to a point that you have more quality time? Does it mean simply putting things away to a point that, no, we haven't done Pisces yet, Dale. I'm going to try and do the whole 8 today. So, it may lead into your nighttime in America, but I'm just going to plow through. That's the reason I started pretty early today. So, with this, if you're changing things around at home, the first moon is going to be on the 1st of October, and it is going to be hitting your career sector. So 10th house is all to do with career, reputation, fame, or lack of. And because we have the Aries energy there as well, your womb may link to previous events and situations that were actually encroaching on that. It could have been due to what's going on in the collective. It might have been due to family, schedule, or, the people that you were dealing with wasn't meshing with you, or was it preventing you from actually achieving it. Aries also is 1st house placement of you directly getting to a place where initially it might have been other dynamics that were actually affecting that, but now you potentially could be seeing where you can create those healthy boundaries, that potentially there were belief systems that you took on board that you had to be, and now you're looking at it from a perspective of a new learned perspective of, look, I can really cut these situations out of my life. Maybe external scenarios were impacting it. Is that mine to own? Can I control that? Can I not? Is it actually affecting my bigger picture of where I'm going for my financial stability? So looking at that, you're directly taking your power back, and you're trying to grab the bull by the horns. And with Lilith moving into Taurus, it is going to hit your 11th house. So some of your hopes and dreams during the first week of October are really going to be sort of like in the washing machine. It's like all of a sudden you might say, over here, this is where I want to be. Then suddenly you want to be over here, and it's like, okay, some new things can be coming back too. So try and really pace yourself through the first week. Being a full moon with such heavy fire energy, you're more inclined to get agitated. You're more inclined to be very frightened. May be more strict and abrupt, which to a degree, yes, it's going to be necessary, but over the top, use the traffic light scenario that I kind of give you guys. It's your inflamed red, stop. Yellow, go to the bigger picture of the inner child, your creativity. What do you want to get out of this? Green, then proceed forward with heart. And that's for the best outcomes, so that you're not, firing on all forces. You're going to be fatigued, but it will be mental fatigue and fog. And that is due to Mars retrograde and Aries and Chiron retrograde. But as the weeks progress, we would have adjusted to that. No, it is very temporary. We've got about 8 weeks left. So if you're thinking, gosh, I'm climbing up a mountain, I really can't get there, please keep applying your energy to positive things, getting things done, tying loose ends up, looking at your paperwork and documentation, everything you learned with Pluto retrograde, it's going to start coming up. So there could be subjects to do with, again, with your 5th house, children. Pluto can be very much shared resources, give and take in situations, births, deaths, endings. With it going direct, what you learned in the retrograde, it's going to start coming up, and you'll have the tools to directly be able to be accountable, look at your side of the fence, look at the other areas, potentially with marriages, contracts, partnerships. Okay, what is the give and take in this, and how can I balance it out? But make sure during this month you read the fine print, because with the energy of Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, there can be a lot of cross wires, misinformation for you guys in particular relating to romance, children, and luck, the 5th house placement. So, for instance, if there is a schooling situation and you're needing to look at it with your children, fertility, again, IVF, looking for DNA checks and things to that degree. Is this mine? Then paying alimony. Make sure you read the fine print, because we do have the energy of Mercury going retrograde mid-month, and it is in the house of Scorpio, which is still linking to your 5th house. So, crosswise with people, it can come up. Again, frustration, and almost like you intuitively know something, because Scorpio is very, very psychic. So if you're getting the energy of a download and you're like, really, I'm thinking of this, I know what this is about, really trust in that intuition, because it's really going to benefit you. So I'll show you the cards, and then we'll get into the moon by moon phase. So the animal totem cards you have is prayer feather. And so, when you say feathers, it's almost like, it's very esoteric. It's to sit and meditate. It's yes, okay, sometimes we give our power away, we hope for the best, but at other times it can be an anniversary that's coming up as well, and your souls and your guides are actually communicating with you. Now the thing is, even with the ruin that you have, it is actually suggesting that you do need psychic protection at the moment, that you do feel a little bit under attack. You almost feel like you've been slapped with a bad luck stick, and you're fearing the worst, so to speak. But it's actually asking you to have faith and try not to tune into that. And I do find with Manifestation, we tend to do it all the time. And, there's a lot of things on YouTube about how we manifest. But the one thing I have noticed is they're channels. We are energy. So no sooner do you think something, it's almost that person will call you or that subject matter will come into fruition. So if something is coming up in your mind's eye and you don't like it, you need to really shift your energy and focus on something else. And if you do feel something's really triggering you, really asking you guys to support you, especially if you feel there's no doors opening to you, because it's really coming through, especially with the ruin that you have, which is linking to Virgo. It may be that you're wanting to, again, Virgo can be really great for details. It's perfectionist. It's a bit OCD energy. They're really great at perfectifying situations. So this also links to the bird swan, which is interesting because we have feathers. And it's earth and air, but it's the color gold. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this is because it really does hyperlink into your entirety of the read. Okay, protection, sanctuary, again, fourth house placement, home in Libra, right? Wanting justice and balance. So signing contracts and things to that degree. Prayers, friendship, trust. That's what you're wanting in your life. Esoteric, mystical, communication with the divine. I did mention that. Ask your guides to support you. It can be a loved one. It can be, whatever you want, however you see it in your energy and belief system. Mystical communication with the divine, guardian spirit, absorption of protective cosmic energies, faith in the divine. Now, as I mentioned, even your obstinate. Anytime you use tourmaline or obstinate, and I have been saying this pretty much for the last 3 months, dark energy has been present. When Neptune's retrograde in Pisces, it does tend to come up. Where does Pisces land for you guys? 9th house. So, the bigger picture, the long distance, children, siblings, your belief systems, religion. So especially because we have the nodes in Sagittarius and, and I hope you guys are following because this is a lot of information. I'm trying to simplify it. I'm basically saying that for you guys, you are protective. You want a home that's going to protect you. You want people in your life that are supportive. You don't want to have to watch your back within relationships and connections. You've got relationships here. You're tapping into your emotions and you're trying to move forward to a space that you can actually have the light at the end of that tunnel. And here it's asking you, so I'll read what the actual ruin says. The ruin is asking you, and first you must decide inside yourself that you're worthy of that. Sometimes energetically we think it's all happening on the outside, but especially with the 1st and the 7th house placement, which is what you guys had with the nodes, you actually realize through that transit that you did have power in that situation. It was a perspective you were coming from that you felt empathy towards these situations, that it was your obligation to make everything happen, right? Okay, quadrant may be in need of protection, but confirms that such protection is assured. All the quadrant need to do is to confirm the link with the divine and prayer. When reversed, let me say, yes. When reversed, the ruin warns of great peril. The ruin itself may be worn as protection. I remember actually thinking I wanted to get a tattoo like this, which almost reminds me to the key of life in Egyptian, okay, in the upright. So what you're walking away from, when the reversals are coming up for me, it's almost like a karmic lesson. And it does make sense because even your first card for the Aries moon, it's like you're looking at things, but the end goal this month is going to be you're going to get out of the tunnel. So at a karmic level, if you feel that you can't remove yourself from these situations, I feel through the process you're going to learn that you actually can. Now, I will ask for you guys because some of you won't know. So I will ask for Cancer, may they have protection, psychic protection through the month of October to help guide them through this transit with the black obstinate and tourmaline. So if you don't have any, you can get some, but requesting it for all of Cancerians to make it through this transit. So, wow, there you go. Saw the light. That's so spooky. So for you guys, with the Aries full moon, it is a purge, right? You got the 7 of Cups. Now, most of us know with the Seven of Cups, it can be you're looking at the thing, you're mustering up and you're trying to be in the Magician energy. You're looking at it and you go, okay, which cup do I pick? Now, it is 10th house placement. I do feel you guys need to understand, and I think you already do. It's like all these scenarios of how these situations can play out, and your wound is linking to the 10th house placement. But there is a lot more energy with the energy in general. We have most of the transits retrograde. We're having Pluto go direct. You're looking at what you need to end. You've been through, I feel this is what you've been through, and it's almost you're meditating upon it. And you're looking at how potentially these situations with marriages, contracts, partnerships, and your wish and desire to succeed, how you saw yourself in those situations, you're like, I've been through the ringer, right? Perfectly normal. Take some time to meditate. The full moon isn't necessarily to take action. It's to come to terms with things. I do feel also because it's a 7, 7's very spiritual. It's also self-worth energy. The relationship with yourself is very important. If there's no you, no one can have a relationship with you. If you don't help, they don't get. If they don't give, it's given and received. So it goes both ways. So it's developing that beautiful relationship with yourself. And then naturally, those people who are entitled to you pivot towards you. Haters are going to be haters. That's the truth. Even if you're great, they're going to hate you. Even if you're horrible, they're going to hate you. So you might as well be in your higher good of doing what serves you. And then when they've lived an experience similar to what you have, they will directly understand where their power is too. So, base it where it falls for you, but just understand that you do have control. And I do feel in the first week with the full moon in Aries, there can be some emotional triggers. There can be some memories coming through with Neptune and Pisces retrograde. So if you're having dreams, if you're feeling really tired but just can't sleep, try and get your base chakra balanced. You can have lower back energies coming through. Watch your lower back and your base. You're definitely looking at your finances and wanting to get life in order with Pluto going direct. Really getting your ducks in a row and maybe even changing things around in your daily routine. Now, we're also going to be having on the new moon in Libra, it's going to be on the 16th. It's going to be at 23 degrees. It's a super moon. And it's also hitting your 4th house. So if you are signing contracts, it will be during that Mercury retrograde phase. You're also going to be looking at where you want to be, deciding factor of what this is, trying to organize your routine, getting back into a balance. It's going to be big, big changes happening. And I do feel it'll happen anywhere between the beginning of the month and the end of the month because the energy kind of does linger over. So some of you may be already tying up some of these things. Some of you will be resonating as you move forward, and already working on them to move. You get my gist. So home-related dynamics, which 4th house placement is to do with your psychological foundation, what you're basing a situation on, domestic issues, endings, and home. So again, I do feel deep reflection. I think for many of you, you're changing things up. You're trying to find that balance. You're trying to be healthy in a sense of give and take. And you're willing to work with people if they're willing to work with you. And this can be in all facets of life. You're trying to be typical, very fair and just like Libra, right? Then by the time we move into the full moon in Taurus, it's on the 31st of October. It's hitting your 11th house. So hopes, dreams, desires. 11th house can be, your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, your friends, the wider group energy, very similar to Aquarius. It's also the bigger energy. So as I mentioned, most of this month, you're going to feel as though you're going one way and then bang, you're doing a 360 and you're going another. It doesn't mean you're not going to succeed. It's just with Mercury retrograde, especially in Scorpio, there are external things. You're going to move through the matrix. Make sure you check your emails. Make sure you double check you've understood what's going on. Again, it can be a lot of internalization where you're physically, mentally tuning into these things to understand what's going on. Now, with your animal totem your spirit animal, you've got prayer feather, tourmaline, or black obstinate, and you have eagle medicine. Rising above a situation, and it's funny because even with the ice and the cold, it's like, it can be leaving something out in the cold. But what that is, and seeing something from a higher perspective to understand the bigger picture of a situation. There also might have been people that were quite cold towards you. There also may have been a person that's passed over that sometimes you really wish that person was here to support you, but they are through the ethers and it's through your memory system. So if you find that was the only person really that was on the planet that understood you, they want you to know not to think that way, because there are people that are coming to you, like the laws of attraction, that really are going to love you as equally as this person. So to be open to that frequency. Let's get into your romance. Oh, everything just jumped everywhere though. How are we doing, guys? I'm sorry for the delays. Moving house is not, easy. You all know. We've all been there, right? What's happening with Cancer's romance house, please? Be patient with yourself. Try not to judge yourself too harshly. Get rest where you can. Balance. Okay. You're making peace with the past. You got the Ten of Swords in reverse. Making peace with the past. Recouping. Four of Swords. Maybe a scenario isn't there for you right now for a solution, and maybe that's why you had to, really do a 360 in a situation. Leave it be, leave it to rest, leave it where the cards fall. I do feel it's caused great confusion. It's almost third eye, egoic perspective, maybe on their side or your side. But you're really trying to focus on your dreams. It's almost like potentially there might have been, jealousy, envy relating to your hopes and dreams. People really testing you, maybe even feeling very, very tested. Power outage at home. Yeah. Well, prior to moving, that happened to me. And I have one last client. I'm like, Jesus, take the wheel. Okay, so the star. Yes, okay. So focusing on your hopes and dreams. Knowing that by these scenarios, it's taken you away from this. And, it could have been relationships. And it might have been feeling like, the only person that understood your hopes and dreams was this person, guy, source, or a loved one that isn't here. Yeah, you're wanting protection. You're wanting to either attract a healthy relationship, or some of you have the relationship in mind and you're focused on it. Some of you also had a perspective of what relationships were, and now you're seeing the star for what it really is. Yeah. There could be a scenario that comes up, and maybe it had been that way, where it was a left and right, trying to do too many things. Maybe you had to be a masculine and a feminine, or a feminine and a masculine. Maybe for some of you, you were a single parent and having to be too many things. You might have seen that in your childhood as well, and it was just a lot to muster. But I do feel you guys are really, really busy. Either your mind is busy, or at a 3D level, you're needing a little bit of time. You've been very tunnel vision, and I don't mean that in a rude way. I mean it like you've had to keep moving forward. You've had to keep moving through the bedlam, so to speak, to get to the other side. But there's been, some of you even may be thinking, do you change job? Do you change industry? But many of you, this is more, you've been focused on that because we do have such heavy placements in Capricorn at the moment. And having to be everything, having to level up, having to change things, your attitude, maybe really being forced to work very hard and not be able to pay attention to situations, having faith that you'd reach the end of that tunnel, whatever that be. But it's your faith, and it's asking you to have faith in yourself. Like, it's not the calm before the storm. We're in the storm. We're working to walk out of the storm into the new. Okay, so have faith. You're doing that. Okay, you're trying to keep very private when it does come to your romance house. People may not have understood you. In the past, maybe inside of relationships, they may not have understood you and you felt very guarded. But I do feel you're very, very protective. You have some plans, but again, I do feel you have a surprise. It's either coming towards you or you're surprising somebody, and it is an offer. It's taking something to the next level. There's a sweetness about it. There's a gentle energy towards it. It's endearing. Oh, it's who I am. Hi, Tammy. Morning, Tammy. Okay. How do they feel? Okay, the person that loves you is being very cautious. There could have been a situation that was a huge burden. It might have been a scenario surrounding you, or they may be looking at you like, yes, you're being careful. You've got situations that have gone down. You had some burdens. And I do feel they're looking at you and you're looking at them, and you are, how do I place it? You're more like-minded than you know. Your love interest feels you put a brave face on, but, you know, overall, even some of the cheekiness that sometimes comes through with Cancerians is playful energy. But I do feel there's something going to the next level. This potentially, for some of you, could be literally moving in together, moving house, you know, having a child, getting married, because this is what's in the ethers. This star is coming towards you, Cancer. Yes, both of you in your own lives, very separately, previously, have, you know, seen a lot, but for you guys as well, you know, there's a lot coming up that you guys are moving through, but I feel you're just keeping it really close to your chest, and it's not from a negative point of view. It's a kind of sum it up point of view, which does make sense because you have you have the energy of Gemini with the nodes in your 12th house. So for the next 2.5 years, you're going to be thinking a lot about, you know, your socialization. You're going to think before you speak, which I do feel most of you do. But you're going to learn to speak. You're going to be mixing with new people. You may be even comparing, especially with 11th house placement, like, wow, why wasn't I mixing with people like this before? Why weren't my hopes and dreams like this before? So it will be an interesting way in which you may hear something, you may feel something, and it's just a huge changed way of having a perspective. Yeah, because the old you's dead and gone. Read aura. It's just gone. That's not a bad thing. It's you are evolving. You're evolving into this new vibration of who you always have been. It's like letting the crab out of the shell. Okay? The real crab out of the shell to be whom the crab is. Okay, what does Cancer need to be mindful of? Okay, be cautious around the Libra moon. It is a new moon, but I think anywhere between the beginning of the month to mid-month. You know, you guys, marriages, contracts, partnerships, relationships. Be careful of your relationships. Make sure they're balanced. Make sure they're balanced. And remember, the rule was in reverse. Don't mix with people that don't deserve you. If you feel you need to keep your distance on things, it could be taking a legal route. Again, you know, you do tend to say during Mars retrograde, don't be doing that. Especially Mercury retrograde and Pluto, there can be misunderstandings, issues to do with finances, shared resources, but it is coming to an end. So just be cautious, pay attention to things, and all should be good. Any questions in the house? Just had a 2.5-hour chat with my twin. I called him out today, I must admit. What zodiac sign are you, sweet? All of it, you got to remember, all of us have Aries placement, all right? And we're all triggered, we're all tired. Ascension uniform, don't even get me started. I'm going to need tape to keep my eyes open soon. Does this apply to Cancer South Node as well? Yes, from... well, look, we're having the full moon in Taurus, which will hit my natal South Node, North Node. Okay? Holy moly, girl. We're going to go out and party. Thanks, sweet. Love ya. Yeah, from your South Node point of view of evolution and change, move towards that of applying that into your life, like choosing your relationships. That's, look, yeah, I know I'm going to be doing some videos over Christmas and New Year's, getting ready for 2021, applying much of what I wanted to do at the very beginning of this before the karmic energy come about. Karmic energy has always been there, right? Of doing information videos about house placements, about North Node, South Node, astrology, numerology, animal totems, psychic protection. Okay, I'm trying. I'm one person. But because I had too many, see, this was so relevant to me, Cancer Moon Rising, relationships. But again, learning your place in that situation. So you have a relationship with yourself, and if the world falls down, we didn't start the fire. It's always been burning something. The world's been turning, right? We didn't. Love that song. It's realizing that everyone has their own path. No contact with Tia for 2 years. Yeah, generally when you're dreaming, when you have a dream randomly of them, generally they're thinking of you. And then they go to bed and they're dreaming of you. It enters your dream state. And that's how you know. And this has been my perspective, because if I haven't been thinking of a person and just out of left field that comes up, it's their energy channeling you. So again, you can tell with blockages and the reasons why paths don't merge with twin flame journey. And it's usually because there's something on one side or the other side of the fence, not necessarily healing, but there can be unclosed doors and things to that degree that haven't been finalized. Yeah. Self-care for all of us. Okay, the next one. Which one would we like? Does she want a card, Antonella? You're going to be a full steam ahead this month, lady. This computer. No, thank you. Now my washing machine's beeping. Okay. May I have a card insight for my career? Gosh, you are really, really busy, eh? Let me see. Well, I will be doing Scorpio today as well, because I know you're Scorpio. My Venus is Scorpio. Okay, let me look. Bloody computer. Excuse my French. Okay, new things will be coming through, but it'll be by you actually updating, checking, and the only thing that can hold you back is you. You also have more movement, I would say, by mid-month, but the frustrating thing, again, make sure you check yourself. Don't underestimate yourself, because with the full moon in Taurus, make sure your paperwork's in order, make sure everything's up to date. I'll pull a card for you, but you do have really great aspects there. The ones that are really going to be like feeling it this month is the water signs. I'm sorry, I love this. I'm a water sign too. I've got that in my natal. I've got water elements in my natal. Yeah, so you're going to feel tired. Make sure that you are, ready to go. But you could be jumping from one situation to another. Just make sure you may change your mind, because with the Taurus placement, we've got the full moon in Taurus. It is going to be your 7th house. So to do with what you want to do, it may change by then. Right? It may change. Too many. Yeah, just don't overload yourself. You know what I mean, miss? Don't kill yourself trying to do too much. So narrow it down. I mean, between now and the end of the year, we've still got probably 8 weeks, right? 8 weeks of Mars retrograde. November the 14th, it goes direct. So we've got till November the 14th, right? So that's really tiring. December the 15th, Chiron and Aries will go direct. So the fatigue energy, if you overload yourself, it's going to break you. Make sure you don't bite off more than you can chew. I don't have a bad feeling. It's just choose to balance that. Do you get my gist? Think back to what you went through before. That's not Antonella's wrong. No, sorry. Let people help you. If you've got to end things, don't burn yourself out, okay? Don't need to prove anything to anyone. I already know you're a machine. Yeah. Cool. We'll chat soon anyway. Once I finish these, I'll give you a call during the week. Next week, right? Okay, I'll be back and we're going to do... We've done Cancer. I'm going to try and get these bloody mid-months done after this. What do we want, guys? Pisces or Scorpio? Oh, we'll do Scorpio. Okay, I'll be back in 5 and then we'll do Pisces directly after. Love yous. Bookings below. Bye, Val. Love ya.